Those Canadians, they are terribly, terribly mad at us. You know, I haven't seen the Canadians this bad since, well, I don't know. I didn't think they got mad. The only mad Canadian I know is Wolverine. Politics aside, how much do we love Canadians? There's a poll. Something to do while we're waiting for the top of the hour to become reality. I'm not bound by any like rules that I have to start at 1, but Like, try to keep it professional, man. Wow, I tried doing an Airbus practice last night. It did not go well. The Airbus 320 and I think she's mad at me for breaking up with her a while back. She just didn't want to do anything I wanted her to do. It was so bad I just deleted the whole live stream after I was done. Just worthless amount of digital space. So the AI is getting pretty good at generating images. As you can see on the cover art today, I went over to Bing and I'm like, show me some angry Canadians on a runway being mad at United States of America aircraft flying overhead, and it really kind of nailed it. Good job, AI. Wow. Perfect. Dang, man. I am literally just an art director now. Quick highlight of what's coming up right off the bat. We're going to start with the bad guys getting to roll their D&D Sabotage pants today, and then we're going to look at the area in question today, and the whole Canada thing. We're going to zoom down in there and have a quick little look at what's going on. Are they mad at us? That mad? Not now, Edith. Not now. Why must you ping me now? Well, that's entirely wrong. It says 13 minutes. That's wrong. What the heck happened there? I'd be all sad. What? Oh, it's because when I switched screens, when I did the quick little highlight. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. You know, today's show, not brought to you by probably anything Canadian. Too soon? Man, the Canadians are, they're really mad at us. To the point that, well, I'll tell you all about it in just a minute. Thanks for tuning in, episode 293. And I wanted to look at Canada, a specific area of it, and that's how this whole thing started. But again, before we get to the Canada stuff, we have to let the bad guys get a chance to rule for some sabotage. Okay. So, just imagine, if you will, the roleplay situation. You don't have to put on any strange Dungeons and Dragons hats unless you want to. I don't mind. Okay, so you got to go into your mind's eye for this, okay? So Skydude, well, somewhat mannered Tuthill after he was pecked by a radioactive bird, was compelled to become Skydude. And so it's this journey of this guy that's trying to become a Skydude, okay? And along the way, anybody that's on a journey will have a nemesis or two, okay? That's what this part of the show is all about. The Nemesis and their attempts to sabotage Skydude's aircraft in some way and, you know, keep them down. That's what Nemesis do, right? Okay, so let's roll for them today. A 6. All right, so you see the random failures up there. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 categories. So somebody, some agent has come over and messed with the aircraft that we're going to use. It's interesting because I don't know which aircraft we're going to use yet, but bad guys, they know stuff. Okay. So there's 3 options in here. We go back to our dice. Oh, there's something that I need to take care of here. 1, that, so you probably don't hear an echo. So you don't hear an echo. All right, back to the dice. All right, so three areas of breaks that they can mess up. So I'll give them a D4, and on a 4, nothing happens. A 1. Back to the random dice generator. A 1. All break failure. Okay, just checking that doesn't mean things are terribly horrible. It gets horrible now, because now we have to determine the percentage. 89% of an all break failure. So the agent they sent out today is good. It's good. It's getting tougher. All right. So back to random failures. And we need to change this to 89%, but it's on the 1,000 scale here, so we do 890. And hit save. All right, now we need to turn it on, but let me show you what the triggers can be real quickly. Speed, alt, time, and an instant failure. All right. Now we come back out here to overview and we start it. Okay, it worked. All brake failure when will fail. Speed, when we hit 69 knots, we're going to have an all brake failure. Now I don't know if we're going to be able to land. Still don't know what aircraft we're going to get, so it'll be very strange. Okay. All right, so that's all taken care of. So we can remove the D&D dice generator and the random failures from the screen, leaving us with Bushtalk. Okay, so when I'm planning these shows, I'm trying to find areas that have lots of cool audio tours next to them, so I can you know, do a quick little job, or you know, make sure that we have some cool sightseeing things and things we can learn about. So we're near this area and I'm like, cool, Victoria. Oh wow, that's a capital city, isn't it? Because I don't know crap about Canada really, other than like one of the Alone seasons was filmed up there in Vancouver. I'm sure I've met a Canadian or two in my life. Anyway, I'm like, this place is loaded and it's got some really nice points of interest for us to see in this area here. And so now when I went to go look for a job in that area, what? None jobs? None jobs, you say? None. Here? And I thought, well, maybe I didn't unlock it. So I paid my way to fast travel to these locations here. And if you pay to fast travel to an airport outside the area that you've unlocked by just doing jobs, then it will open up all the jobs in that area for you. And none jobs popped up. Well, I haven't seen the Canadians this mad since ever. I didn't think Canadians got mad, but they're spitting mad, and so no jobs. And that's the joke. The Canadians are so mad that they're with the United States at the moment that they're limiting the amount of jobs in Microsoft Flight Simulator at the moment. There's a tariff on a tariff on a tariff somewhere, and no, we're not getting any cool jobs. If you want to fly a helicopter, I guess we can get a few jobs. Well, no, there's no jobs here, just we can go there. So the nearest job I can find is up here. But then, yes, these are some rebels up here. They don't really care. They've got some jobs for us to do. And just by eyeballing it, I don't know how long it would take us to get down there to Victoria, but now I'm determined. I want to go get all these audio tours along here and learn about all this area of space. Okay. And maybe tomorrow, I'm thinking I'd kind of like to show you where I mentioned the Alone show, maybe in the pre-show, but the television show Alone, the survival show. I was really fond of it when it started. I haven't really caught up with it lately, but love it. And I believe this is the area right here. You know, in the show when they zoom down on the Earth for season 1, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it could be up here at this area too. Maybe this one's it. Either way, I'm going to find the area where Alone season 1 took place, and I'd like to do that. Okay. Actually, we don't have to fly all the way from up there. Well, that seems about the same distance. We kind of covered a lot of this stuff over here. All right, well, what is this? David Vandermeulen. What do they want us to fly? Anyway, they had to push back their scenic flight a few days ago, but we've got a slot open for today to be getting them on a nice ride over their home near Awachan Bay. Okay. All right, so once I actually spawn in, then it'll give us our position in Bushtalk Radio. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Canadians are so mad. How mad are they? Try to find a job near Victoria, British Columbia today. Tell me. Okay, so now that we've spawned in, we can get our Bushtalk location. Gotta make sure I got a little green flashing light down there. Okay. Okay. Am I not logged in? It says I'm not logged in. What do you mean I'm not logged in? Sorry, technical difficulty. I guess it logged me out. We have an audio tour just for the place that we're at, I thought. I guess not. It moved us. They have a radio station nearby. CJSU FM 89.7, Sun FM Duncan, British Columbia. And it looks like we're in the town of what? The world's largest hockey stick and puck. That is just up the road from us. We wanted to get in a car and drive over there and see if it is there.
Naturally, the world's largest hockey stick and puck is found in, where else, Canada. The Cowichan Community Centre, in Duncan on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, boasts the largest hockey stick and puck in the world. Built in 1985, the 205-foot hockey stick is built from Douglas fir wooden beams reinforced with steel, and weighs in at a staggering 61,000 pounds. The world's largest hockey stick and puck was originally commissioned by the Government of Canada as part of the Expo 86 World's Fair Exposition in Vancouver.
Oops. A little jumpy there and started the thing. Well, I'd go see it.
Ready for boarding, Jessica. Okay, on their way.
This plane and I also have a love-hate relationship. I love it. She hates me. Typical.
What a perfect day to try something new. Today, you're flying with one of our friends, David, over our very own region. One of his colleagues came with him. Seatbelt fastened? Then you're all set. Engine started? Let's go!
And it all comes down to the brakes. You know, sometimes the autopilot, not so much. But it's usually with this lady and I, it's the brakes. I don't have feet. well, virtual feet, right? So, out of character, you know, I don't have foot pedals. What? Okay. Whatever. I'm not getting any left rudder.
Nice to meet you, Captain. I'm never had the chance to fly over Cowichan Bay before, and I'm thrilled. So I'm counting on you to show me lots of cool stuff around my place.
Hey there, I'm Julie. It's so great hanging out with you today. By hanging out, I mean flying.
Yeah. What else are we doing? Oh, see, that's it right there. So I'm trying to do these things and hit my brakes, and that's the problem with her and I. And I don't know how to. I have been messing with brake settings to try to get it to not be so bad, but it's super powerful. And you're considering picking up Microsoft Flight Simulator and doing the career stuff, and find yourself in any tail dragger at the moment. The brakes are just off, or Superman. So, quick little demonstration. I was hoping we'd have a little bit more taxi space for me to show you. But yeah, you have to like pump them really quick. And if you don't, then immediately she'll tip. Even at slow speeds. Okay, that's not very fast.
It's a bit scary, but still exciting. Mostly exciting.
Yeah. Right? That was a slow, painful one, waiting for the propeller to strike. Okay. You know, well, it's going to definitely count against us crashing 3 times. So if you find yourself in that position, for the sake of this show, that's using superpower. So you don't get to be level 100 and whatever we are now without picking up magic missiles or a couple superhero skills. One of it is the ability to use the reset button. Restart. So I tried doing an Airbus practice last night and it went horribly. Maybe tonight things will be a little bit better. I messed around this morning when I was having my coffee and took one out for another flight today, and the autopilot and I were getting along a little bit better. Figuring out how to use the nav radio a little bit better. Figured out how to finally get a VOR dialed in. Figured out kind of how to put an ILS in. I don't really understand the full format.
Ready for boarding, Jessica. Okay, on their way.
Well, you know what I haven't done is I haven't checked the chat to see if anybody's popped in. Hey, there's a poll in the chat. Politics aside, how much do we love Canadians? And I didn't put a question mark at the end of that, and I feel really dumb. But your choices are lots, eh? And more lots, hoser. So please jump in and do that. And if you jump in and you haven't jumped in the chat before,
you're flying with one of our friends, Dave, over our very own.
Hop in and say hi, so I can go right to your channel and subscribe to your channel.
Fastened? Then you're all set. Engine started?
What an interesting little turnaround.
Charlie Alpha Mike Tree Traffic in Juliet X-Ray 509er is taxiing to runway tree 1.
Nice to meet you, Captain. I'm David. Never had the chance to fly over Cowichan Bay before, and I'm thrilled, so I'm counting on you to show me lots of cool stuff around my place.
Hey there, I'm Julie. It's so great hanging out with you today. By hanging out, I mean flying.
Landing gear malfunction. Yeah, you know, a tire malfunction on top of the brake problem that we're going to have. Don't you find that a little... I mean, come on, really?
X-ray 509.
If the plane were to actually work that way in real life, I think people would, well, then, one, you understand why you don't see them anymore.
When do we start?
But I can't imagine that, you know, that it's that absurd. Why? And now she's not right ruddering. Now I've got no right rudder authority. No, I don't have any left rudder authority either. I'm stuck. Wow. Well, that's interesting. That guy's really winning today. So yeah, you shouldn't be having landing gear damage and tire damage by hitting your brakes at 2 knots. All right, let's see if we can get any authority once we get back up to the strip. If not, then I'll restart it again and try to just teleport us. We'll see if we have any authority, and then we'll teleport right to this point. A little bit. I gotta gun it. And now she won't turn back the other way.
Charlie Alpha Mike Tree Traffic in Juliet X-Ray 509er taking off runway tree 1 east departure.
My hands are shaking. I can't wait to look down from the clouds.
Okay, now she's responding.
Super pilot, so we're in your hands now.
So they were lying to you, clearly.
Hey, this is something else.
You folks live in a lovely spot of this world.
It's gonna blow some minds.
Oh yeah, very, very beautiful.
David? Even better than you thought, right?
Our pilot is treating us right. This is an amazing experience.
Good. I'll leave it to you then. Enjoy the flight.
Naturally, the world's largest hockey stick and puck is found
Okay, so it's somewhere right below us.
Canada. The Cowichan Community Centre, in Duncan on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, boasts the largest hockey stick and puck in the world. Built in 1985, the 205-foot hockey stick is built from Douglas fir wooden beams reinforced with steel, and weighs in at a staggering 61,000 pounds. The world's largest hockey stick and puck was originally commissioned by the Government of Canada as part of the Expo 86 World's Fair Exposition in Vancouver.
That is very nice looking down there.
Spot we used for team building last year. Do you remember?
Good old times.
That's where they did their television training to be part of the TV crew for the Alone series by the History Channel.
The town of Cowichan Valley over there. Nice.
Everything down below looks so tiny.
Everything looks better from up here. Look, that's my house.
Where? Oh yeah, I see it.
Cowichan Bay is a bay and community located on the east coast of southern Vancouver Island, near Duncan, in British Columbia. The mouth of the Cowichan River is near Cowichan Bay. Mount Sohalem with its hiking trails and ecological reserve stands to the north. The bay is known for its fishing and scenic value. The area's main industries are fishing and tourism. The area is served by the nearby coast-spanning Island Highway and Island Rail Corridor. First Nation history. For many thousands of years, Cowichan Bay was home to First Nations people who harvested the wealth of salmon and shellfish found in its many coves, tidal flats and swiftly flowing rivers. A rare steatite anthropomorphic bull was discovered on Cowichan Bay in the late 19th century. One of only about 50 so far found and estimated to originate from the Marpole culture, it is now in the British Museum's collection.
All right. Now, this is where I wouldn't use the word kidnap because it's not what we're doing. We're not gonna ransom my passengers. What we are going to do, though, is for free give them a much greater experience than what they paid for.
I can't wait to tell everyone back home about this.
Well, it might take you a little bit longer to get back home, but we're gonna go now and see what we can see as we make our way out along the coast towards Victoria. I did say that she and I said it's mostly a brake problem. But I did mention that sometimes she's fussy about wanting to let me use the autopilot. Like, now, you gonna work? No. See what I mean? It does not want to come on. So, and then Trim is always acting funny these days. So I'll do my best to trim the thing.
Too bad the boss didn't want to come with us. All team buildings should feel like this.
See if I can get see where she wants to balance out. She wants to keep going up.
When we took off, I thought there should have been a drum roll or something.
I'm just keeping an eye on my vertical speed at the moment, and I'm reducing power little by little by little before trying to apply any trim.
I want to act sophisticated, but I'm as excited as a little kid at a carnival. What's going on, Julie? You've been pretty quiet.
Just soaking it all in.
Totally. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, that is the best I could do right at the moment for straight and level. You know, we could make little adjustments, but find your Zen, aircraft. Just a touch more fuel, throttle. Don't get crazy now.
It's like the world is laid out in front of me.
Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, let me get back to Bushtalk over here and try to find us some cool audio tours. Man, we were cruising. We passed by, we must have just skirted by these. So right behind us, for a moment. So right behind us, the Sydney airport. Closer. The Victoria
International Airport ICAO, SAE serves Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. It is 12 nautical miles north-northwest of Victoria on the Saanich Peninsula, with the bulk of the airport including the passenger terminal in North Saanich, and a small portion of the airfield extending into Sydney. The airport is run by the Victoria Airport Authority. YAE has many non-stop daily flights to Vancouver International Airport YVR, about 15 minutes, which is a major airport serving many global routes. Additionally, Victoria International has non-stop service to Seattle, and national service to Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, and several smaller cities in British Columbia and Yukon. The airport also has seasonal non-stop service to several Mexican resort destinations. Non-stop service between Victoria and the United States decreased by 50% at the beginning of September 2019 when Delta Airlines permanently ended its 3 daily flights to Seattle, after which only Alaska Airlines continued to fly the route. Victoria International Airport is classified as an airport of entry by NAV Canada and is staffed by the Canada Border Services Agency. CBSA officers at this airport can handle aircraft with no more than 450 passengers when unloaded from the aircraft in stages, or 120 normally. YAE does not have United States Customs and Border pre-clearance, but many passengers fly first to Vancouver International Airport, which does have US pre-clearance.
Well, I don't know if that is the case today. The United States has pre-clearance. I don't know. They're pretty touchy right now. No jobs around here. So just further along the coast up north at 12 o'clock, well, 1 o'clock, there was also one that we missed.
Swartz Bay, located on the north end of the Saanich Peninsula on Vancouver Island, is primarily known for being the location of one of BC Ferry's main terminals, the Swartz Bay Ferry Terminal. Swartz Bay was named after John Aaron Swart, purchaser in 1876, i.e. it was meant to be Swartz Bay, but was incorrectly spelled when it was adopted by the government. The Swartz Bay Ferry Terminal is a 12.1 hectares major transportation facility at Swartz Bay in North Saanich, British Columbia. It is located 32 kilometers north of Victoria on Vancouver Island. The terminal is part of the BC ferry system, as well as part of Highway 17.
Okay. Now, not directly. Let me get my camera in. So right out here about 3 o'clock. And it looks to be about 5 to 10 miles.
Brentwood Bay is a small village in the municipality of Central Saanich, on the Saanich Peninsula. It lies north of the city of Victoria and south of Sydney on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. Situated on the Saanich Inlet, it includes the Bushtalk Gardens, the Victoria Butterfly Gardens and the Brentwood Bay Lodge and Spa. Brentwood Bay also
passengers are going to be mad.
Ferries dock which connects to Mill Bay. The region also plays host to various wineries and restaurants, and also features hiking and a variety of wildlife in Gowland Todd Provincial Park. Brentwood Bay is part of the Central Saanich municipality, one of 13 that make up the Greater Victoria area. It is located on Highway 17A just west of Highway 17, the main route running the length of the Saanich Peninsula. It is also served frequently by the Brentwood Mill Bay Ferry, the MV Kleitzer, run by BC Ferries.
That's beautiful over there.
Originally named Slugget after an early settler, it was renamed Brentwood Bay for the town of Brentwood, Essex.
Out here in the water, that little island, right there off the wing.
Darcy Island is a small island that is part of the Gulf Islands National Park Reserve. Once a leper colony, today the island lives on as a popular destination for both day trippers and overnight camping. Ruins of the former colony are found on the island, along with a memorial of the victims of the policy of isolation. The island is uniquely quiet within the National Park Reserve due to its distance from shore and its lack of appropriate anchorages. It is predominantly covered by coastal Douglas fir, and is ringed by small rocky beaches.
That's the second time this month, I believe, that we have run across islands that were previously leper colonies that are now tourist destinations. That is the strangest bit of trivia to have in my head. And yours now. You know what I see right down below us? The golf course. Gonna use my superpowers to stop the aircraft. Okay, and we're going to teleport. Gotta use your mind's eye for this, you know. Use your imagination. We're gonna teleport down to that golf course. See if anybody's watching. If so, you're coming with me. Oh, nobody's watching. That's too bad, because I could really use a hand right now with this golf match. Okay, let me grab my D&D dice. Gotta do it? Do it by myself. All right. I don't know how good they are here. Let's give them, let's do it a D20. The 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons rule difficulty class, we'll make it a 13. So I've got to get over a 13. And a 5. Nope. And I smile and I humbly teleport myself up back to the plane and oof. The beaten. All right, coming up just ahead. About maybe it's just this highway it's talking about. By the way, we're within a mile of what it's going to talk about.
Central Saanich is a district municipality in Greater Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. and a member municipality of the Capital Regional District. It is located on the Saanich Peninsula, in the far southeast of Vancouver Island. It is the traditional territory of the Wusanack people. The district began as a farming community, and many hobby farms, along working farms and vineyards, still exist. In recent decades, the area has seen increasing residential, commercial, and industrial development, especially around the neighborhoods of Brentwood Bay and Sonichton, which are occasionally referred to as separate communities. The area's best-known tourist attractions are the Bushtalk Gardens, located in the Brentwood Bay area, Gowland Todd Provincial Park, and Island View Beach. The mayor of Central Saanich is former district councillor Ryan Windsor. Municipal councillors last elected in 2022 include Neil Paltiel, Sarah Riddle, Zeb King, Bob Thompson, Gord Newton, and Christopher Graham.
Okay. So we've got 3 directly ahead of us if we maintain this heading. The University of Victoria is a university of roughly 22,000 students located in the Gordon Head neighbourhood in Saanich and Oak Bay. While the campus today is large and sprawling, the university started as a partnership with the University of British Columbia in Craigdarroch Castle, closer to the city centre. Eventually getting its own building at what is today Camersin College, the university began instruction at its current location in 1956, on land previously used by the Department of National Defense and the Hudson's Bay Company. Okay, the reason why I pause is the next one is right here at this bay.
Cadborough Bay is the historical location of Sungayker, a Songhees village. The bay's current name comes from the Cadborough, a Hudson's Bay Company trade ship, the first European vessel to anchor in the waters here.
Cool.
Today, the beach is surrounded by some of the most expensive real estate in Greater Victoria, and its proximity to UVic makes the bay a popular evening gathering location. Cadborough Gyro Park is a large public park at the head of the bay, giving access to the sprawling sand beach that wraps around the bay. During the summer months, the bay is often crowded with sailboats large and small. It is home to the Royal Victoria Yacht Club.
Oh, posh. Buffy. Yeah, Buffy and I had some lobster thermidor last evening. We swooshed across the bay to hang out with the Great Gatsby. We had champagne and fine chocolates throughout the evening. Spoke of cloning.
Discovery Island, named after the HMCS Discovery, is a marine provincial park that offers a unique and pristine wilderness experience only a few kilometers from Victoria's city centre. The island is named after the ship of Captain George Vancouver during his voyage of exploration in 1792. The traditional Songhees name for these islands is Tilches, and the islands are within the traditional territory of the Songhees nation. While the currents are quite close to the city, access is very difficult, there are no water taxis nearby, and paddling a kayak or canoe across Baines Channel is dangerous and requires extensive planning due to currents that make many rivers look tame.
Oh, I forgot to put the dice away. Buffy, I forgot to put the dice away. Okay, one here. Ooh, another golf course.
The Victoria Golf Club is a golf course located in the city of Oak Bay, British Columbia, Canada, which is part of metropolitan Victoria. It was established in 1893 and is now the oldest golf club in Canada, still located on its original site, a rocky point on the southeastern tip of Vancouver Island, overlooking the Strait of Juan de Fuca. It is also one of Canada's few courses that is open for play an average of 360 days per year. Several holes provide views of the ocean. The course today plays to par 70 for men, 73 for women, and its length is just over 6,000 yards from the back tees.
And I lost there too. It was a lot better. I got a 10, but not enough to win the day at Victoria Golf Course. Labrador 54 Gaming, hey, how are you? Let me pause real fast. Haven't heard that noise in a while. Thank you so much. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't miss any chats. Say thank you in the chat room. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 coming up in this area right here. So the first one is going to be right in front of us after this park. Looks like it's that kind of tan area up ahead. Beacon Hill Park.
The childhood home of the eccentric Canadian painter and writer Emily Carr is now a museum dedicated to her life and works. Emily Carr, 1871 to 1945, was a painter whose works were heavily inspired by the indigenous people and landscapes of the Pacific Northwest coast. She was an adventurer and a feminist, often traveling alone and in rugged conditions in order to reach remote villages. She recorded these adventures in great detail and published several books of her accounts. Emily was also known for her eccentricities, notably owning a pet monkey who she dressed up and took for walks. Carr grew up in this upper-class home in Victoria, British Columbia, which was designed in 1863 by famed local architects Wright and Saunders. Throughout her life, Carr would draw strength and inspiration from her childhood home and the area surrounding it. In her The Book of the Small, she described her idyllic recollections of the house. Our street was called Carr Street after my father. We had a very nice house and a lovely garden. Carr Street was a very fine street.
We had a very, very, very fine house. So it's right there in front of us somewhere. And then they've got a cool radio station over here. And that is CBC Radio 1, Victoria, British Columbia, MP3 stream. And this body of water is Symphony Splash, an annual event held over here at this
Victoria
water
Splash is an annual event held in Victoria, British Columbia on the Sunday before BC Day. The event is produced by the Victoria Symphony and consists of the Victoria Symphony playing Live on a Barge in the middle of Victoria's inner harbour. Also included in the event is a very large fireworks display, as well as live cannon fire, during the 1812 overture. The concert is led by Victoria Symphony music director Tanya Miller. The 2016 event on July 31st will be the 27th Victoria Symphony Splash. The free event leads to about 40,000 spectators gathered around the Victoria waterfront, as well as on the grounds of the British Columbia Parliament buildings and the Empress Hotel. It is one of the largest annual symphony events in North America. Hundreds of people also gather in boats and kayaks to watch the concert. Each year, a young soloist is a featured performer with the orchestra.
What did she say? Houses of Congress? Or Parliament, or whatever they call it over here? Sorry, when you get closer, things kind of turn to Mad Max world. Unless they're handcrafted, like some of these buildings around here. Made to look really, really pretty. In the future, it'll be better and better. Always. Okay.
Fan Tan Alley is an alley in the Chinatown neighborhood of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. It runs south from Fiskard Avenue to Pandora Avenue at the block between Government Street and Store Street.
Don't know where I am anymore.
After the Chinese gambling game Fantan, the alley was originally a gambling district with restaurants, shops, and opium dens. Today it is a tourist destination with many small shops including a barbershop, art gallery, Chinese cafe, apartments and offices. It is the narrowest street in Canada. At its narrowest point it is only 0.9 meters wide. It was designated as a heritage property by the local government in 2001. The alley can be seen the 1990 movie Bird on a Wire, in a scene where actor Mel Gibson drives a motorcycle down the alley.
Okay, and that's right out there in front of us somewhere.
Victoria is the capital city of the Canadian
This is what we came for.
British Columbia, on the southern tip of Vancouver Island off Canada's Pacific coast. The city has a population of 91,867, and the Greater Victoria area has a population of 397,237. The city of Victoria is the seventh most densely populated city in Canada with 4,405.8 inhabitants per square kilometre. Victoria is the southernmost major city in Western Canada and is about 100 kilometers southwest from British Columbia's largest city of Vancouver on the mainland. The city is about 100 kilometers from Seattle by airplane, seaplane, ferry, or the Victoria Clipper passenger-only ferry, and 40 kilometers from Port Angeles, Washington, by ferry Coho across the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Named for Queen Victoria, the city is one of the oldest in the Pacific Northwest, with British settlement beginning in 1843. The city has retained a large number of its historic buildings, in particular its two most famous landmarks, the Parliament Buildings and the Empress Hotel. The city's Chinatown is the second oldest in North America, after San Francisco's. The region's Coast Salish First Nations peoples established communities in the area long before European settlement, which had large populations at the time of European exploration. Known as the Garden City, Victoria is an attractive city and a popular tourism destination with a regional technology sector that has risen to be its largest revenue-generating private industry.
Oof.
Victoria is in the top 20 of world cities for quality of life. According to NOOB, Victoria is a major tourism destination with over 3.5 million overnight visitors per year who add more than $1 billion to the local economy. As well, over 500,000 daytime visitors arrive via cruise ships which dock near the city's inner harbour. Many whale-watching tour companies operate from this harbour due to the whales often present near its coast. Downtown Victoria also serves as Greater Victoria's regional downtown.
I think we have just enough altitude to recover from that. When switching between cameras in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, sometimes in certain cameras your controls don't work. For example, they don't work in drone mode because you're a drone outside the plane. And sometimes when you're in this mode, there's another version of like HUD mode. Like there. Same here. No controls. So if you're in a bad position and you switch to this camera, you got to quickly try to get back to a proper camera where you regain your control. All right, we're coming up on some more here.
Canadian Forces Base Esquimalt is Canada's Pacific Coast Naval Base and airport to Maritime Forces Pacific and Joint Task Force Pacific quarters. As of 2018, 4,411 military personnel and 2,762 civilians work at CFB Esquimalt. CFB Esquimalt comprises facilities that include NOOB and Her Majesty's Canadian Dockyard Esquimalt, Fleet Maintenance Facility Cape Breton, a firefighting and damage control school, the Naval Officer Training Center Venture, and extensive housing including 716 personnel married quarters located at 9 sites such as Belmont Park, Work Point, and Royal Roads. The present dockyard and dry dock, known as HMC Dockyard Esquimalt, dates to the Royal Navy's Esquimalt Royal Navy Dockyard 1842 to 1905 and was the Royal Navy's Pacific Station until 1911. Today it serves as the Canadian Naval Headquarters in the Pacific.
Very nice.
Fort Rod Hill is a historical defensive position covering the entrance to Esquimalt Harbour. Originally built in 1864, it remained in service until just after World War II. The fort and its servicemen were respected during the Second World War for their agility and accuracy in firing, traveling to Europe to aid in the training of others using the same quick-firing 12-pounders. On August 4, 1914, 2 submarines surfaced at the entrance to the military harbour. At this time, Canada's Navy had no submarines, so the fort began preparing firing solutions and notified the naval base. At the last minute, it was discovered that, in an illegal and unsanctioned deal, the provincial premier purchased 2 submarines personally from the Americans and had failed to notify the Canadian military. The submarines eventually became part of the Canadian Navy, but they almost ended their career before they had started it. The lighthouse on the small peninsula was the first built on the west coast of North America. Completed in 1860, the light tower's glass windows often cracked from the shockwaves of the nearby guns. Today both the fort and the lighthouse are a National Historic Site.
Okay, and on the inside of this bay here,
Royal Roads University is a public university with its main campus in Colwood, British Columbia. It is located at Hatley Park National Historic Site on Vancouver Island. Following the decommissioning of Royal Roads Military College in 1995, the Government of British Columbia created Royal Roads University as a public university with an applied and professional degree granting focus. The university considers alumni of RRMC to be part of its broader alumni community. The university's main building, Hatley Castle, was completed in 1908 for coal and rail baron James Dunsmuir, who was Premier of British Columbia and then Lieutenant Governor during the first decade of the 1900s. At the outbreak of World War II, plans were made for King George VI, his wife Queen Elizabeth, and their two daughters, Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret, to reside in Canada. Hatley Castle was purchased by the federal government in 1940 for use as the King's Royal Palace, but it was decided that having the royal family leave the UK at a time of war would be too big a blow to morale, and the family stayed in London. After the death of Dunsmuir and then his widow Laura, the family sold the estate to the federal government in 1940 to be used by the military. HMCS Royal Roads, named after an offshore naval anchorage, was commissioned in December 1940 to train reserve officers for service in World War II. The institution had several names before it eventually became Royal Roads Military College in 1968, achieving full degree granting status in 1975.
and that is it. Get you a look at Bushtalk here. So there's really nothing as you go south, and this is the area that I wanted to cover today. Turn the oops, my poor passengers. I don't think we missed any. I think we got them all. If I hold this course heading and we follow this river over here, we got a couple more on the way back. 2, 4, maybe 5. I was gonna say we haven't really done any fishing today, but these areas, they're really heavily populated. A lot of people around this these body of water. I don't know that I want to. I don't know. Maybe the fishing's just freaking fantastic. They all take their fishing seriously and make sure the waters are all good, but it's a lot of humans living next to a large body of water. That's neat. Is that a quarry? These areas up ahead seem much better for some fishing.
Bear Mountain is a golf resort and adjacent community straddling the boundary between the city of Langford and the district of Highlands, in the western communities of Greater Victoria, British Columbia. It's located adjacent to Skirt Mountain. Bear Mountain Golf Resort and Spa offers 2 courses for a combined 36-hole designed by Jack Nicklaus. The Mountain Course, a par 70 playing at 6,900 yards, sets atop a 1,100-foot hill and has been assigned a slope rating of 100.
There it is.
From the
I see it.
tees. The 18-hole, par 71 Nicklaus design valley course measures just under 7,000 yards. Bear Mountain is also home to the Canadian Training Centre of Golf Canada's National Development Team, the High Performance Training Centre of Canada's National Mountain Bike Team.
We're playing around. Anybody here? Anybody? Da, 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 da. Nobody's watching. So sad. Still remains a DC 13 and 11. Getting better throughout the afternoon. Maybe limbering up a little bit, you know. Working it out. Take some deep breaths. Oh, some fishing. Are we going to catch some lovely fish for dinner tonight? Let me just make this one a DC 10. That's easy, I would think. Oh yeah, 16. Didn't even give ourselves any pluses for that one. Although, should get some. I'd say I'd give myself a +2 on the fishing. Alright, since we're going into wilderness, let me turn down all the object settings and pump it all into the terrain. I don't think we're going to be able to see over that hill, but let's see. No, we'd have to go up pretty high. But there's another lake right over this hill. About 5 miles, 10 miles, tops.
Souk Lake is a natural lake and the main reservoir of Greater Victoria in British Columbia, Canada. It is owned and operated by the Capital Regional District and supplies water to approximately 350,000 people. It has a usable water supply of 92.7 million cubic meters, of a total of 160.32 million cubic meters. Rithette Creek is the main inflow and makes up approximately 25% of the supply. The total watershed area is 8,620 hectares. The development of Souk Lake as a reservoir was approved in 1910, and construction began in 1912. A concrete dam was constructed and raised the water level 3.7 meters. Water was transported to the city of Victoria via the Souk flow line, a 44 kilometers concrete aqueduct. The project was completed in 1915.
I was right there because we are right on top of another tour.
Saanich Inlet is a long glacial fjord separating the Malahat Range from the Gowland Range and separating the Saanich Peninsula from the rest of Vancouver Island. It is widely recognized as the southernmost glacial fjord on the west coast of North America. It is notable for being quite deep compared to the surrounding Salish Sea, descending to over 700 feet in depth. It is home to fragile and threatened glass sponge reefs that may have been alive for up to 15,000 years. The mountains on the east side are protected by Gowland Todd Provincial Park, while the west side of the inlet sees extensive development along the Malahat Highway. The inlet is crossed in the northern part by the BC Ferries Brentwood Bay to Mill Bay route, and is busy with pleasure craft in the summer.
Oh man, I just wish that there was much more beach surface area.
600 meters, 2,000 feet.
Everything's so abrupt
Beautiful Arbutus
along Vancouver.
to a spectacular gentle spiral ramp that takes you up 32 meters, 105 feet to a sightseeing lookout offering views of Finlayson Arm, Saanich Peninsula, Mount Baker and the distant Coast Mountains. The views from the top are spectacular with Salt Spring Island to the north, along with other Gulf Islands, and Mount Baker seems to be within touching distance on clear days. There is a prime view of the Mill Bay Ferry.
I don't have any information on what this place is directly below us here. This town, city, whatever, hamlet, I don't know, but there's no info on it. From, Bushtalk anyway. Using open street maps. So, thank you, British Columbia and Victoria. And despite there being no jobs around here today, close enough that we could get a job and just enough time to get down and sightsee everything. And I feel a lot closer today than I did yesterday between me and my fellow Canadian brethren and sisterin. You know, just politics aside, always. Can't imagine that we would ever not be friends. You know, politics comes and goes. But as far as attitude and the way you are and the way we are, I mean, that's why I think we're such great neighbors. You're great people. On our good days, we're all right. Right? Yeah. You're an amazingly, wonderfully great people. And I don't think we could have better neighbors. Seriously, let's think about that for a second. If I think about, you know, all the other people in the world, who would we rather have as neighbors? Now, I am just particularly fond of Scottish accents. So, okay, that's a tough one. You know, but if we had to switch somebody to be a better neighbor than Canada, I don't know I think we get along pretty good with the Scottish. The Irish, yeah. But you guys are pretty cool. You're pretty great. Again, I can't imagine a better neighbor. So, politics aside, you know, again, politics comes, politics goes. So I hope this doesn't, you know, we can be mad. Friends can be mad. We can get mad about things, sure. But I think in the long run, if crap hits the fan, you know, we're right here. We're not going anywhere. We just all ultimately need to make the world as groovy as it was. If you're over 40, okay, you have a point of reference on how amazing the world was. Kids today, kids today, they have, it's been so long since things were truly good, that they have no point of reference and they don't understand. But if you're over 40, maybe even over 50, then you experienced times when economically they were pretty darn good. Things were good. We were hitting a point where everything was balancing out between, look, we can afford this and afford this to give this to the government, but we still have all this and can afford to take care of everything we needed to take care of to be the great people we needed to be. Unleash us, and we unleashed, right? Look at everything that we've accomplished because of the way things used to be. Anyway, getting back to that, where we are all groovy again. That is where I would love us to all be. Is groovy. You can afford everything you need. We can afford everything we need. The government's not so up in our butts all the time, and we find a way to push away our enemies without having to resort to too much conflict. Great if we was none. Leave us alone. Go be groovy with your own people. Go. And it's obviously you don't like us. And that's why I couldn't even imagine you as a best friend over Canada. it'll never come up on a list, even as a possibility. You're not good neighbors, but go be good neighbors with people that you want to be groovy with, and you know, leave everybody else alone. And did the radio go?
Charlie Alpha, Mike Tree,
Almost
Traffic
there.
in,
Guys.
Juliet, X-ray
David having a good
509er, 2 miles
Ready for another
southeast,
round?
800 feet inbound to
Thanks for
land
the ride,
runway
Captain.
31.
I'm ready for another.
What an amazing ride. Loved it.
I pray this isn't too ugly. Me and this aircraft, and tail draggers and I don't get along in general.
Oh, that gave me some serious chills.
I've been holding my breath the whole time. I just the terror of landing these things.
Charlie Alpha, Mike Tree, Traffic in, Juliet, X-ray 509er is taxiing to runway tree 1.
Oops.
Charlie Alpha, Mike Tree, Traffic in, Juliet, X-ray 509er is taxiing to parking.
I didn't even talk about my favorite Canadians today. The ones who've had the most impact on my life. There's one in particular. Truly, just I'm sure there's plenty.
To see your own region from a new perspective. Looks like they enjoyed it. That was a great sightseeing session. Cool.
But one more than any other. And that was William Shatner, Captain Kirk. I don't think there's another Canadian alive that has had such a dramatic impact. Yeah, there probably is. Alanis Morissette wasn't so bad. The band Triumph, Rush. Brad Sucks. Well, you win some, you lose some. In the end, we, you know, that was probably one of the better landings I've ever had in a tail dragger. Usually spinning all over the place again, and just out of habit, pressing the brakes and tip over. All right, Canada. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's see what, if anything, opened up down here now that we've did a mission this far north. Yeah, it looked like something just opened up. Yep, these are flashing up here now. I'm going to cheat and fast travel up here. Well, it's not cheating. I'm paying for it. Okay. Out of my own money up there. Okay. So, really? So, maybe I'm not joking, and maybe it's not a joke. Maybe the Canadians are imposing strict lockdown on jobs for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 because not a whole lot opened up just there. The reason why I wanted to open this up is it's either, I'm pretty sure it's here. Well, sort of. I'll have to look into it again, but the History Channel show Alone, Season 1. Takes place up here. Yeah, I think this is it. This whole area from this inlet all the way kind of like halfway on both sides. I think they had people. Anyway, I'll look into that, and if that I was hoping there'd be a job now that we opened it up, but that's not so far that we can't maybe do this one tomorrow and then do the Alone locations. We'll see if anything changes tomorrow. Are there any airports in here where I can open this area up? I'll just leave it there for tomorrow. All right, so we're doing pretty good. We've done a pretty good job of opening up territories. This whole series of flights started in Denver, Colorado Springs. See where we've made our way. Put. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Again, please don't be a stranger. Pop in and say hi so I can go subscribe to your channel. I'm going to put up the cover starting screen, even though we're not starting, just to... Well, here's what I could do. Let's go to the ending screen and add... image. There we go. Just got to be smart. And we have to make the blending method. No, not that one. Nope. Yeah, that works. Well, that is interesting.